Next, as most of you are aware, there's a large-scale weather system that's been coming towards the province now for a number of days, Hurricane Dorian. We've seen it move throughout the Caribbean and up the east coast of the United States. And as per the forecast, it is now moving over the province. We expect the weather to continue to deteriorate throughout the day, with peak conditions probably in the midnight approximate time frame. We've been activated here in our PCC, our Provincial Coordination Center, since this morning, though we've been ramping up planning for the last 3 or 4 days, working closely in concert with all of our emergency management partners, many of which are represented here today, and of course our municipal partners, other provincial departments, federal government, and some of our critical infrastructure partners. So we're well positioned for this event. We'll be staying activated here throughout it and in the coming days until any of the results have been mitigated, and working closely with these partners to address those issues.
Go ahead, Dave.
Hi there. Safety is Nova Scotia Power's utmost priority as Hurricane Dorian progresses toward and through our province. We have upwards of 1,000 personnel, including power line technicians, forestry crews, planners, damage assessors, engineers, supervisors, communication staff, and customer care representatives, staged in communities from Yarmouth to Shetty Camp, ready to respond as soon as it is safe to do so. To ensure their safety, except in emergency situations, we will be in a safety stand down, meaning our crews will be off the roads from noon until 10 p.m. in western and central Nova Scotia, including Metro Halifax, when wind gusts will be at 90 kilometers an hour or higher. In the eastern mainland and Cape Breton, our crews will similarly stand down as Dorian progresses. The safety of our employees and our customers is our top priority. Customers can report any outages via our outage map at nspower.ca or call our outage line at 1-877-428-6004. Estimated times of restoration will be posted, and we will make updates to our estimated restore times once our teams have assessed the damage. We are ready for this storm, and we are here for our customers. We urge everyone in the province, all of our customers, our employees, and contract crews to stay safe. Nothing is more important than your own personal safety and that of your families.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Inspector Don Moser, representing Halifax Regional Police, and I want to thank you all for coming today and listening to some of this critical public safety message. Want to make sure that everybody sort of leaves here today understanding and appreciating that the Halifax Regional Police stands very well prepared. I've been through workups through this week and have a very solid preparedness model, and that in no small part shout out to all the other partnering agencies there and the high level of collaboration that's actually taking place in preparation for this event. So working very closely and in partnership with the RCMP, all of the HRM business units, and specifically EMO, we want to ensure that we all speak with a united voice and underpin the safety aspects related to this event, and encourage the public, and I can't be any more direct on this, to ensure that you're following the local direction of civil authorities, that if there is barricaded road closures, if there's any restricted areas, even simple incidents such as four-way stops, when it becomes a four-way stop, that you're following the basic rules of road safety, that you're placing yourself in the best position possible. So our role as a policing agency will very much continue on in the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian, but public safety is our first priority, so it's critical actually that folks take no chances, hunker down, listen to your messaging, be prepared, keep yourself safe, keep your family safe. So thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to echo my colleagues' messaging in saying that safety is the primary concern for the Nova Scotia RCMP, for the public, and for our employees. As the provincial police, we have worked with communities and organizations from across the province, and we are continually monitoring the storm as it progresses and any potential impacts that it's going to have. Again, our excellent relationships with our public safety partners, with our communities, has enabled us to put plans in place and coordinate the planning for the storm over the past week. We do have several contingency plans already in place to ensure we can maintain appropriate levels of service and respond to situations as needed for the duration of the storm and for after as well. Communication is going to continue to be critical to make sure that we can make situational changes and adjustments to our service delivery as necessary. We have called in additional resources through our Operational Communications Center, and we have additional resources at the ready if need be. So again, we would like to stress to the public, safety is the primary concern here. Stay off the roads, listen to the public officials and their instructions, and would like to thank our colleagues for their support and participation in the planning of this event.
I'll add the Canadian Red Cross voice to the preparedness message, in that people should be paying attention to all of the alerts and notifications from emergency officials. We are opening shelters as we speak in Halifax, at the Canada Game Centre, the St. Margaret's Centre, and the Dartmouth East Community Centre. Volunteers across Nova Scotia and the rest of Atlantic Canada are on standby to respond, and we will support communities that are impacted by this disaster. We've been working closely with our partners within Nova Scotia and certainly HRM and other municipalities across the province to prepare for this storm.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Erica Fleck. On behalf of HRM, I feel that we are completely prepared as much as we can be for this storm. We have front-loaded as much as we can in the lines of supplies and our readiness, and we've been working on this for days with all of our partners here in the room and then across. So the cooperation that we've had this past week in preparing has been phenomenal. And we've taken our lessons learned from Hurricane Juan and all the other events, realized what went wrong and what we could have improved on, and those were the first things that we fixed to get ready for Dorian. So I feel that we're in a very good place. With regards to citizen safety, I can't stress that enough, just like everyone else here has done this morning. We are urging citizens to make sure that they are, they have everything at home squared away. We've been stressing all week in our public service announcements about securing their belongings outside, taking down those patio umbrellas, their furniture, kids' toys outside. And then we've been getting complaints today and notifications about lumber material left unattended, construction sites unsecured. So those are our big concern right now. We've been working with our policing partners all morning, trying to identify companies and reaching out to them. So I would urge people to continue to call into us through 311 and other means. Let people know, police have been engaged, but I would also, put a push out there to the public that, if you see these things, these are our big concerns right now. It's the items across the municipality, again, those large lumber parts, ladders that are unsecured, that really with the hurricane force winds that we are expecting, it could be extremely dangerous. We also, as our Red Cross representative said, we have asked the province earlier in the week to open those shelters for us, and we are urging the citizens in the communities right along the coastal properties of HRM to look at, if you have nowhere else to go with family or friends, then please self-evacuate. You know yourself where you live. Again, those tides are expected to come in 10 to 12 meters, which is 50 feet. That's a lot of water coming on your property, and we want people to remain safe. We're also asking the Downtown Business Corps to close early, so we've contacted a lot of them. The message is getting out there. We're asking them to close early, no later than 5 p.m. this evening, so that not only the staff can get home safely, but we do not want the citizens of Halifax roaming downtown. The water's coming in. We all learned our lessons during Hurricane Juan, and we really want people to remain safe. Thank you.
So we do have time for questions. So what I'd like you to do is, as you're asking your question, please identify who you're asking it to, and they'll come in and make sure they're answering your question at the microphone so that everyone can hear.
I think this is for Erica, but not perhaps somebody else. We are hearing reports that residents of Sambro and other areas that are right in line are not evacuating. Is that correct? A lot of residents have chosen not to self-evacuate even though they should.
That is correct. So at this time, I mean, again, the residents know themselves, they know their property, so we would recommend that they self-evacuate if they have nowhere else to go. But we are really concerned, like I said, with the waves coming up and the storm surge that we are expecting. The good news about this storm, although I said 10 to 12 meter waves, it is coming in at low tide. And should that shift at all and it comes in at high tide, then we can expect, you know, much bigger and worsening conditions along the coast. So that is our biggest concern with the people that live out that way, is we urge you, you know your property and how close you are to the water, and if you do not feel it is safe, then please move yourself to somewhere where it is safe on the inland.
Nova Scotia Power, can you tell us what are the emergency situations when crews will be responding in the next 24 hours?
At this time, we're going to defer any further questions to our communications department at Nova Scotia Power.
Red Cross, what's your capacity of emergency shelters?
We're fully staffed at the shelters with volunteers for the next 24 to 48, 72 hours, and we can house dozens and dozens of people. We've got all our cots, blankets, and supplies in place now at all 3 locations. We've got more in our warehouse in Dartmouth and Truro as well if we need to move more.
Can you be more specific about the number of people you can take in?
We're prepared at the moment for 60 at each location with pre-positioned supplies to move in to either of the shelters if need be.
Jesse, Global News question. Is anyone utilizing the 3 sites already?
They officially opened at noon, so I don't know. We were on our way down here, and I don't know if anyone had showed up by then.
Have you gotten any calls? Brett Ruskin, CBC News. Perhaps not anyone at the shelter, but have you gotten any calls, people reaching out to the Red Cross?
I did hear from our call center in St. John, New Brunswick, just before I came down, and they said it has been quiet so far.
A question for Erica Fleck again, if possible. Nicholas Tendai, Canada. You said earlier that you learned lessons from one. Could you tell us what kind of lesson you learned?
Yeah, so we know we needed to be better prepared for municipal staff in order to respond to the needs of the citizens. So that was our biggest focus very early on, was to make sure as a municipality that all of our business units were ready. We've been exercising hurricane scenarios, ironically enough, that we're supposed to hit on the 7th of September. And so we've made, you know, huge strides working collectively across all business units, making sure that all of our generators have been currently tested, all our fuel capacities are topped up, that we know what, you know, our entire inventory of emergency supplies are. We front loaded as much as we can for emergency water. We know that we're going to have power outages, and we were concerned. One of the lessons from Hurricane Juan is that we couldn't get water quick enough to residents with residents that are on wells. So we know when they lose power that they will not have running water. So we've already pre-positioned a large quantity of water in strategic locations throughout the municipality so that we can respond very early to the needs of the citizens, and that there will be no waiting period.
If you have to evacuate people,
Yes.
do you have any team or crew ready to help residents to get out?
We do. We have just under 1,000 volunteers that we know of, that we use quite frequently, between ground search and rescue teams, our joint emergency management teams that are all on standby right now, and they've been on the ready for the past 24 hours, and they are prepared to help us in any way, shape, or form. We know that we're going to have to open comfort centers in the days to come, which is a municipal resource that we have, and we will be doing that in the days to come in the areas that do need them the most.
And the last one, do you know how many people are at risk right now?
We do have at-risk populations, and so we've already reached out to those. So nursing homes, they have their own emergency plans. We've touched base with them. Special care facilities, we're in constant contact with them, and you know, other places like that. But we have a very good emergency management network that we utilize quite frequently, and especially with this storm, and we have constant communications back and forth.
Just further to that, how many people are at risk along the coast from the kinds of high waters that you're speaking of?
So I mean, without going door to door, we know the population base as a whole. When we've drawn the circle around it, in the Peggy's Cove, you know, area out that way, it's about 700. In the Eastern Passage, if you took the entire Eastern Passage, you know, the whole coast along there, it's 10,000. And then on the Eastern Shore, we're looking at about 3,000 people.
3,000 people or 3,000 homes, sorry?
Or sorry, 3,000 homes, yeah.
Matthew Moore, News 95.7. You were saying maybe with Halifax Police too that there's some construction sites that are
Yes.
burning a little bit. Any damages reported from debris that is flying around at this point? Or
Not yet, no. Well, we are just trying to be more proactive. We'd rather be proactive at this point than reactive. So that's why we've been working together all morning, going out to those. Police have been contacting them, and we've had great success so far that the contractors are actually sending in crews to clean up their sites.
Could the voluntary evacuations become mandatory evacuations?
We could do that. If we enacted a state of local emergency, then we could do mandatory evacuations, but we're not there at this point.
Question for Nova Scotia Power, please, boss. No?
No, not at this time.
No question? You want to answer a question?
Sorry. At this time, we're deferring questions to our communications department at Nova Scotia Power.
Why is your communications department not here?
Or is that for the communications?
So I will be providing a contact number for the media line for Nova Scotia Power. Unfortunately, CEO Karen Hutt is at the Nova Scotia Power Centre, so she will be available via phone. I will provide that number. Do you have any other questions for folks in the room?
What's the main risk? Is it falling trees? Is it the ladders and the loose items you talked about? What should people watch out for?
So the biggest thing is what we call flying object debris. So people who have unsecured things in their home, I saw a basketball net still there on my way to work this morning, when I moved personally. Stuff is going to blow pretty quick. So flower pots, like I said, umbrellas, patio furniture, kids' toys left out. I have a video of in a country I was in once, and those hobby horses on a stick, and I saw one of those fly through a window, and all that was left was the horse head sticking out on the other side. It was like an impaler. So people need to understand in category 1 force winds, those objects can become very dangerous. So again, I stress that the loose debris that's laying around, the construction materials, a ladder, things that are going to go flying pretty quickly in 140, 150 kilometer-hour winds.
Are there any other questions?
Yeah, I'm at the ACBC. Has the city put anything in place so if buses stop running at 12, but businesses are open until 5, are there alternative means for people to get home?
That's why we made the call early, and we put out those public service announcements in the past 48 hours so that people would have time to plan. And we really feel that because we did that early, and that's, again, lessons learned from Hurricane 1 and other storms, that businesses like the malls shut down, and they made that notification yesterday. So we really feel that because we had that out early, that businesses have been planning, and that's why we're urging, again, the downtown core to shut early so that people can get home. There are, of course, taxis, and we would hope that people would be off the road to be home safe with their families.
Is there anybody here who could answer a question about the storm surge if we've got one in Halifax? How large will it be?
So what is your specific question? Like, we know the storm surge is coming.
How large will it be in Halifax on the waterfront?
On the water, so we're having a teleconference later on today to confirm that. We're looking for very specific data for HRM, and I don't have the answer right now, but we can follow up on that. But we know right now, like I said, it's coming in. Our last notification was that because the storm is coming in at low tide, that we were lucky that it was going to be a 10 to 12 meter waves, which is 50 feet. So we just need to reconfirm that track and look at the storm surge again before we send out any further PSAs.
I know it says here, but Halifax bridges, at what point do they start closing?
So the bridges will close to high-sided vehicles at 80 kilometers an hour, and they will shut down completely over 100. So again, people can anticipate that both bridges will be closed at some point today, tonight.
If that's everything, thank you all for coming. Over the next few hours, next few days, we'll continue using this locations to provide media update. The province will be sending out bulletins throughout the day as needed, so it will be a regular, I believe you've all gotten the first one. Again, we'll be using this location. There is a contact number on the provincial bulletin that we sent out, so feel free to call our media center. We're upstairs if you need anything from us. Thank you. And I have that Nova Scotia Power number, just in case.